on the mend. Yesterday, the Packers superstar talking about his recovery from ACL surgery. He's right now on the physically unable to perform list. He'll likely remain there to start the season. He says a return against the Cowboys in Week 6 is what's realistic. Right now, his focus is on being at the top of his game when he returns.
People are worried about the knee. They should be worried about how I'm going to play when I get back. The anger, the frustration, the things that I'm going to have to let out because you know how long it's been since I played. So I think that's what people should really worry about, like how great is Micah going to be when he gets back, not about when I get back, because that's the short term.
That's what I'm talking about. He didn't say it in animated fashion, but the words, that's what you want to hear him say, right? The world should be worried about when I come back.
Yeah, that's how alphas are. Look, he's basically channeling his inner Kevin Durant. He's basically telling the league, you know who I am, and you know what it'll be like when I come back. So don't start tripping about when I'm going to come back. Just know this, when I do and I'm feeling right, as Gerald's going to talk about, you know what you have to worry about. And that's exactly what you expect from a guy like this. He's dominated every level of football in his entire life. I would expect it to be nothing different, or let's just say I would expect him to not act any other way than exactly how he acted right now.
Fair enough, but G-Mac, there isn't any certainty to what he'll be when he returns. Take us through the process of the elite athlete coming back from an injury like that.
Yeah, the rehab process is the easy part, and rehab is not easy, but pushing through the rehab because you know what's at the end of the tunnel is the easy part. What I want to talk about is that play. And when I say that play, that's what you need to be afraid of. When Micah's talking about be afraid, it's that play. And that play is when he makes that plant on that knee, because when you tear your ACL, or like I did a quad tendon, it controls your change of direction. So you're nervous about planting on that knee or getting pushed on that knee, and Micah's going against 350-pound linemen. But when you have that play where you plant on that knee or you got to change direction and chase Caleb Williams and you feel nothing, that's what he's talking about. And that's when the league should be scared, because when he don't feel nothing in that knee and he feel like he's Micah again, league is in trouble.
So do you think when he comes back, he's Micah again? I mean, whenever it is he sets on the field, he will be the Micah Parsons right away that we expect?
Well, it might take him a game or two, but because he's elite athletically and he's far beyond most athletes, he'll be all right.
But a game or two, not like the rest of this,
no.
season. Okay, fair enough. So then what does all this, Jeff, what does all this mean for a team that is thinking championship thoughts?
Right, well, the good news is that they're also taking a somewhat conservative approach. So when he does come back, it should be at a point when he's ready to have the immediate impact. The problem with it is he has to have the immediate impact because we are looking at Week 6. He obviously has his eyes on that Cowboys game. That is October 18th. Exactly 9 months from when that surgery took place was September 29th.
Right.
He has been very clear that he doesn't want any football. The Packers don't want him playing in any football games until after that date. That will give him 2 weeks of a ramp-up period. So you have to keep your eyes on that rematch game against the Cowboys, revenge game on his mind, coming back from the ACL. That is the game that should be circled on everybody's calendar.
Look, they looked like a championship team when he went down, and they didn't win another game without him. What does this mean for the Packers this year?
Look, but Micah, in many, many ways, really determines the fortunes of this football team because, look, you can quantify how much their pass rush suffered when he was out. I mean, statistically, objectively, you can look at it and go, look, they need him on the field. They just do. They have no other profile anywhere close to that. They just don't. And look, a lot of times when you're acquiring somebody like that, you're going to have to give up something to get something special like this. You can't, hoard all the guys that look like him. So that's why when you have him on your football team, I mean, look, Gerald knows this. When you have guys like this, you're telling offensive linemen, stay away from him, stay away from his knees.
Yes.
You got to put him in bubble wrap until you get to the game on Sunday. Unfortunately, he got hurt playing the game. So look, we know how important he is to this team. Hopefully they can come out of the first quarter of their season at least 500 and roll from there.
They're a team, I feel like, for the Green Bay Packers, are getting a little less attention than normal. I'm talking, does Detroit bounce back? Can the Bears take the next step? The Minnesota quarterback situation? What do you expect from the Packers this year?
Well, if you're looking at division, nobody's running away with the division. Anybody can really win this division, including the Vikings, because the Vikings had a great defense, and depending on how Kyler Murray plays, they can even have a chance to win this. So people counting out the Packers, that's a mistake because this division is up for grabs.
Final word.
The parity in this division is also what makes it very tricky. They have to get out to a hot start. They cannot afford to go slow without Parsons.
Might be the most interesting part of the country to watch. That's the NFC North. We'll go to the AFC North.
Fired up football.
Excited, lots to talk about, lots to get to. Gerald McCoy is here for the very first time.
Yes, I am.
And we welcome you with breaking news literally seconds ago. I take you to Adam Schefter's Twitter, which is always the busiest place in sports. This was just moments ago. Two-time Pro Bowl selection Bijan Robinson and the Falcons reached agreement on a 3-year extension worth up to $75 million. That will now make him the highest paid running back in NFL history. He will receive a record $51 million guaranteed, including $37 million at signing. It's a deal that his agent Nicole Lynn and the Falcons have been working hard on to finish up in recent days. If you've not been following, the hold-ins of Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs have dominated a lot of football conversation in these early days, and now the deal is done in Atlanta. So again, J-Mac and Gerald and our insider extraordinaire, Jeff Darlington. Jeff, what can you tell us here again? Shefty, the breaking news, there's a deal for Bijan in Atlanta.
Well, massive news that has massive implications across the NFL landscape. You mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs. Bijan Robinson getting his deal done certainly sets the stage for Gibbs to do the same. But for this moment, it is Bijan Robinson with the highest contract for a running back in the history of the NFL. He now surpasses Saquon Barkley, who was making $20.6 million a year. Robinson moves to $22.25 million per year. Bijan Robinson was a hold-in, as you mentioned. The Falcons knew that they had to get their best player back on the field, and to do so, they would have to change the landscape of the running back market. So now everything changes across the league for the running backs. We'll see how quickly now Jahmyr Gibbs can get his deal done, because there were whispers across the NFL that these two deals were absolutely connected to one another.
Two of the absolute best and certainly most exciting players in the NFL. One of them done, maybe the other one right behind him. J-Mac, reaction.
Massive. Bijan Robinson is their offense. They line him up all over the place, wide receiver, running back. Getting his deal done allows those quarterbacks and Kevin Stefanski, their head coach, to be able to run the offense that he was brought there to run. So having that guy in training camp this early bodes well for his health throughout the course of the season. The longer that hold-in goes, the more likely that you're going to see some type of injury once he's back on the field. So getting this deal done now makes so much sense. And I think for Jahmyr Gibbs, you're doing a dance right now in the locker room in Detroit, because you know the money is coming for him now that Bijan Robinson is done.
Yeah, we could stop all this. The running back has been devalued, and they come a dime a dozen. Not anymore. No, that money is out there, and this is bigger for the future of the running back position. So Jahmyr Gibbs is sitting in the locker room, like you said. He's sea-walking or whatever dance they do in Detroit, but now he's going to be the feature back. But he said, I'm not touching this field until I get my money.
Let's go to Bijan.
Yeah.
I had people, I remember last year, late in the season, they played a game. They made that run late last year, right? And they won a bunch of games late, but it was sort of too little too late. But we had people, they were on Monday Night Football, and the conversation was, could you make an argument Bijan Robinson is the best player in the NFL? Could you make that argument?
Yeah, you can, because of how he's used and the way this offense utilizes him. I had a conversation with Levante David, and it was a conversation of who's tougher to tackle, Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs. He said, Jahmyr Gibbs is fast, so we have to rally to the ball. But we had a rule in our room. Bijan Robinson, he's going to make the first guy miss. So you have to get there. So he's a headache to game plan for. So, yes, when you have a guy like that who you really have to, really shape your defense around getting to him, because what he can do in this open field, for sure you can make that argument.
And I think to your point, best player and best weapon, because he got over 100 targets in the pass game. He lined up on the outside so many times as a receiver. And to your point, that is hard to game plan against. He was over 2,200 yards of total offense for this Atlanta Falcons team last year. So when you talk about being the best player and being a weapon for your team that can be utilized all over the field, he's kind of in a class of his own when it talks about that, especially at his age.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm thinking back to conversations I feel we've had relatively recently, to the point that Gerald is making about the devaluing of the position of running back. Why would you pay them? Don't draft them early. I feel like that has evolved, and because the players have evolved. There's so much more now than just lined up in the eye and taking a handoff and running 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Jeff.
I do think that this is a perfect culmination for the running back market because teams could continue to stand firm on their belief that you want to just draft guys, churn them out, and then draft another guy without paying them. Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs came at the perfect time for the running back market because both guys are required for their offense to be successful, similar to how Saquon Barkley is often viewed. But if you really look at this, even Saquon wasn't able to get the total guarantees that Bijan just got. And the cautionary tale was Ezekiel Elliott. When he got his deal done back in 2019, that crashed the running back market. And now what we're seeing with Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs is that finally it has come back. Now we're surpassing that $50 million mark, and suddenly the running backs can all look at each other and say, we are worth what teams are paying us.
And a big part of it is age. He's only 24 years old. You get these running backs on the market as young as they possibly can because we know they're going to get used up and spit out. That's still the reality of the position. But I'm glad to see him getting his money up front. It's a huge day in the NFL. We have chips on the shoulders. We got chocolate chip cookies. We got Patrick